Some people didn't just leave the grid. They built something you wouldn't expect to exist, hidden deep in forests, perched on the edge of mountains, buried beneath the ground. There are homes so unusual, so extreme, that most people don't even realize they're real. No power lines, no water systems, no connection to the outside world. And yet, these homes have everything. Electricity powered entirely by the sun, water collected straight from nature, and designs so creative. They look like something out of the future. At first glance, it might seem impossible. How can someone live comfortably in the middle of nowhere? But across the world, people are doing exactly that. Not just surviving, but building homes that are smarter, more efficient, and sometimes even more beautiful than anything you'll find in a city. Some of these homes cost less than a car. Others look like luxury villas hidden in the wilderness. And a few of them look so insane, you won't believe they were built by ordinary people. Because when you remove the rules of modern living, people start creating in ways most of us have never even imagined. And what you're about to see might completely change the way you think about what a home can be. Because once you start looking deeper into this world, you realize that these homes aren't just buildings. They're ideas, experiments, proof that the way we think about living is not the only way. And the first thing that becomes clear is that no two off-grid homes are the same. Each one is built around a different vision, a different problem to solve, a different kind of life. Some are built for survival, simple, minimal, designed to provide only what is necessary. A small structure, a wood stove, solar panels just powerful enough to keep the lights on, water collected from rain or nearby streams, everything reduced to its essentials, nothing wasted, nothing unnecessary. In these homes, space is limited, comfort is basic, but in return, the people who live there gain something else: complete independence. No reliance on the outside world, no dependency on systems that can fail or change, just a direct connection between effort and survival. But not all off-grid homes are built this way. Some take a completely different approach. Instead of minimalism, they push the limits of what's possible. Hidden in remote landscapes, there are homes that look like they belong in the future. Large glass walls overlooking mountains, advanced solar systems generating enough energy to power entire households, water systems that filter and recycle every drop, smart designs that maximize sunlight, insulation, and efficiency. From the outside, they look like luxury homes. From the inside, they function completely independently. No power lines, no city infrastructure, and yet no compromise. These homes represent something new, a merging of modern technology and natural living, where independence doesn't mean sacrificing comfort, but redefining it. And then there are the truly unusual ones: homes built underground, structures carved into hillsides, cabins suspended on cliffs, tiny houses on wheels, constantly moving from one location to another, each one solving the same problem in a different way. How to live without relying on the grid. How to create a space that provides shelter, energy, water, and security without depending on anything outside of it. And what makes these homes even more fascinating is not just how they're built, but why. Because behind every one of these structures, there is a story. Some people build them to escape, to leave behind the stress, noise, and pressure of modern life, to find silence, to find space, to find something they feel has been lost. Others build them out of necessity, to reduce costs, to live without debt, to create a life that doesn't depend on constantly earning more just to survive. And some build them because they believe the future's uncertain, that systems can fail, that independence is something worth preparing for. Different reasons, different motivations, but the same result: a home that exists outside the system. And when you start to see how many of these homes exist, you begin to realize something surprising. This isn't a rare phenomenon anymore. It's growing, quietly, across forests, mountains, deserts, and remote landscapes all over the world. More people are experimenting. More people are building. More people are choosing to live differently. Watch, and as this movement grows, so does the creativity behind it. Because once you remove the limitations of traditional housing, there are no rules left, no standard layouts, no fixed designs, no expectations, only possibilities. But despite how incredible these homes may look, there is something important that often gets overlooked. Because while the designs are impressive and the locations are breathtaking, the reality of living in them is something else entirely. These homes are not just places to relax, they are systems. Systems that require constant attention, constant maintenance, constant awareness. Every feature, every function, every detail depends on the person living there. And that's where the difference becomes clear, because building an off-grid home is one thing, living in it is something else. In a city, if something goes wrong, the solution is simple. You call someone, you pay for a service, and the problem disappears. But in these homes, there is no one to call. If energy runs low, you adjust your usage. If water systems fail, you fix them. If something breaks, you learn how to repair it or you go without. And that level of responsibility changes how people interact with their homes. Because the house is no longer just a place to live, it becomes something you actively manage, something you understand, something you depend on in a much more direct way. And for many people, that connection is exactly what makes this lifestyle meaningful, because it transforms something ordinary into something intentional. Every decision matters. Every system has a purpose. Every action has a visible result. And that creates a sense of awareness that modern life often removes. But at the same time, it also introduces challenges that can't be ignored. Because no matter how advanced or well-designed these homes are, they are still exposed to nature, weather, temperature, seasons. And nature doesn't always cooperate. Storms can damage structures, snow can block access, long periods without sunlight can reduce energy production, and even the most carefully designed systems can fail under the wrong conditions, which is why many of these homes are built with one key principle in mind: adaptability, the ability to adjust, to respond, to survive in an environment that is constantly changing. And that's something you can't fully understand just by looking at the outside. Why? Because behind the beautiful visuals, there is always a deeper layer, a layer of planning, of problem solving, of constant learning. And that's what makes these homes truly fascinating. Not just how they look, but how they function, how they support life in places where traditional systems don't exist, how they allow people to create something stable in environments that are anything but predictable. And when you begin to see that full picture, you realize something important. These homes are not just alternatives, they are possibilities, a glimpse into a different way of living, one that challenges the assumptions most of us grow up with, that life has to follow a certain structure, that homes have to be connected to systems, that comfort depends on convenience, because these homes prove something different, that with enough creativity, knowledge, and effort, it's possible to build a life almost anywhere, not just in cities, not just within the grid, but in places where most people would never even consider living. And for the people who choose that path, these homes are more than just shelter. They are a statement, a decision, a way of living that prioritizes independence, adaptability, and control. But whether that path is right for everyone is a completely different question. Because while these homes may look incredible, living in them requires something that not everyone is willing to give: time, effort, responsibility, and a willingness to accept uncertainty. Which is why, for some people, these homes represent freedom, and for others, they represent a challenge they're not ready to face. But no matter how you see it, one thing is clear. The idea of what a home can be is changing, and the homes you've just seen might be a glimpse of where that change is heading.